You know the most absolute disrespectful thing about recording this week's episode? Bonte told us last week he was gonna be back, y'all. He's like, "Oh yeah, bring Ask Bonte back." All right, bet. This motherfucker getting questions. Ain't no Bonte. Bonte, I'm disgusted. And that's a triple entendre at this point. I'm disgusted.
Oh no.
I guess one of us gonna be Jay Farrow, and we'll be Bonte to answer your question because I don't like ignoring you just because you're your favorite host. Well, actually, he wasn't. That's why he got voted the way he did. It all makes sense.
That's not
You are
nice.
deserving this Bonte slander, Bonte.
Oh my
It's
god.
deserved. I hope you know that. So we're gonna have a Bonte let's ask Bonte, but it's fine. Hey Bonte, what's your favorite NASCAR memory? Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Pick one of the Christopher Bell wins. I mean, I feel like that's a safe guess.
I hope it's this year's Phoenix.
I feel like no. I feel like he'd say something like Bubba's Martinsville win. It'd be something that that you wouldn't
Something
think right away.
meaningful.
True.
Yeah.
Damn it, boy. Anyway.
Hey, wait. Shout out who asked the question.
Oh, well, I didn't go that far. That was like from memory.
Oh,
hold on.
I mean, we got an actual. Okay, well, we got an.
Yeah,
actual
we had that was a
Bonte.
legitimate question. So that's
All
appreciate you, Bloodgrin 946, AA Ron, for asking Bonte's memory. Hopefully, we got close.
Love it.
Oh, that's his first memory, not his favorite. What's Bonte's first memory? Probably
some Diecast related, probably. Dale Earnhardt.
I don't know, because somehow I feel like Bonte is both very young and also an old soul at the same time, and I'm not sure.
Probably something like Carol Yarborough or Darrell Wallace. I mean Darrell Waltrip.
I ain't say that old soul.
The Western Auto car. I'm
gonna say it's some like 2004 Tony Stewart win, whatever he won that year. That's Bonte's first memory. There you go.
Mark Martin winning that
Thanks,
Michigan race.
Ron. Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
No, it'd be something like Greg Biffle. It'd be like Greg Biffle won at Michigan. Yeah, something random. No context. Just
interesting.
Yep. Yeah, just like the 3M car that Greg Biffle had when he won at at Rockingham. All right. True. Thanks, Monte.
Appreciate you, bud.
All right, give me my music. Welcome to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are the hostesses with the mostesses. That's right, Art.
Real close.
Yeah, I got it right. Yeah. It's Jared, it's Art, it's Kiana, the number one voted host on the Victory Lane Vibes contest. Shout out once again to Lee. Him and his better half are heading to New Hampshire, courtesy of the Vibes. And cool. Will subsequently be here with us next week for the recap of Lobster Fest in New Hampshire. But yeah, before we do that, before we get into the show, we're bringing back an old favorite. It's spilled milk. All right, Art.
I ain't bought no fucking milk. Y'all think this shit fucking funny? Fucking help me. I'm out of ice. And then I was like, I'm used to it now. So I done went back in there and had about 2-3 more chips of sauce on it. It's the same fucking thing. It ain't getting no goddamn better. I'm suing Walmart for this bullshit, bro. What the fuck?
All right, spill milk. This is a special edition of Spill Milk.
I don't know why we need the laughter. My stomach hurts.
Oh my god, I'm crying.
God.
What in the world?
of tears.
Oh my
Shout out to
god.
you, Carl. You
I'm
want
crying
to
laughing
once
out loud,
again,
man.
Carl was talking real spicy in the chat, so I had to
Mm.
let the people know what was happening behind the scenes.
Oh my god.
Go ahead, Jerry. You got it. You got it.
Yes, that's the spilled milk.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Can't.
Anyway,
You don't
I'm
even
gonna
need the
try to get-
context behind it. It's just funny as it is. You don't
Oh,
even know.
God.
I'm just trying to get us back on track.
It's
even though I
funnier
know
if
I
you
messed up.
it's funnier if you've ever interacted with Carl or just heard him talk. Like it's just,
I really just imagine. All right,
I'm
fuck it.
thinking
We're gonna
about
lean into
but
it.
you know what made me think about was the Chinese food incident.
Oh
Yeah.
man, the hibachi.
dog. I swear that's probably
Nina,
what he sounded like running back to the car.
See now, like I imagine Carl's like in the kitchen,
Oh my
crawling to
God.
the fridge, hands and
Like,
knees,
doubled over in pain, dog.
just
Oh.
reaching for
Hands
the
and
milk.
Oh
Yes.
god.
Oh man.
Well,
Hibachi
courtesy, thank you, Carl, for a special edition of Spilled Milk this week. I'm gonna give a spilled milk to a lot of people online, including myself, who complained about how god awful that repave is at Iowa. I know we're going to talk more about it. I thought this was going to be a Bristol on steroids, where like every 15 laps it was going to be another calamity. And it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty decent. We had more tire failings than we normally would, and they should definitely finish the repave. They have all summer now to get it done, since apparently, in Iowa, the temperature's a massive factor there. But yeah, they need to get that fixed. But I will say it put on a really good show. We'll get to later on, and everyone, including myself, were shouting from the heavens that this was going to be a disaster, and we were wrong. So we all get a glass, courtesy of Carl.
It's not that I wanted it to be a disaster. I just wanted some tire fall off. That and the fault line that was in the track, as Kiana so eloquently
I
put
mean,
it. That was crazy.
that was
They were 2 knuckles deep in that line, if you want to be real.
like I mean, just driving over that with a regular car, I would be terrified. So I can't even imagine going those speeds and like hit. Oh my god, no.
What's the tire size? 365, 35, 18s they got on the next gen? Golly, that's like riding over a expansion joint like the entire race.
Yeah.
Golly.
That was crazy.
Hey, fix that. Get the rest of the asphalt. Turn the machines back on. That's crazy that like it was too cold for them to make asphalt. That's why I got half of a repave. I never knew it was too cold to make asphalt.
It's got to be
My
hot.
thing is,
damn,
it makes sense.
When did it warm up? Because I feel like they just did it. Like
it was hot as hell this weekend. They should have had the machine on.
All right, yeah,
that's wild.
But anyway, let's get into this weekend. So as y'all know, they were in the land of the corn with the children of the corn that were not on TV. Thank you so much, NBC. No children this week. Praise God. The Xfinity race. The Xfinity race actually was really good because there was calamity and there were tire failures and everybody was spinning and wrecking all over the place. It was fantastic. It came down to Riley Herbst and Sam Mayer. And Art's boy played capture the flag. In a post-race interview, I forget what the question was, but he said he feels slighted that he's not in conversations for cup racing. Huh?
Talk to him.
Delusion.
Put some respect on my name.
Not
respect
yet.
on my name.
Not yet.
Delusion.
He's getting there. I mean, I ain't gonna say he ain't been cooking because he does, but
not yet.
Not yet.
I'm gonna just say there's no world in which Ryan Preece should be at the Cup Series, and you tell me Sam Mayer shouldn't be.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Like, I mean, I could give you probably a half dozen names: Preece, LaJoy, Harrison. You can't tell me that Sam couldn't do worse than that. Like, come on.
I don't know. Have you seen Corey's resume? I'm sorry.
I have. That's why I'm making this argument.
I think it'd be cool. I do want to see him like try a couple. If he could try a couple races this season, that'd be cool. But full time, he needs to marinate a little longer. I think just a little bit.
Before I hand this off to my lovely cast, Sheldon Creed earned another light bulb this weekend, courtesy of his teammate John Hunter Nemechek. Both of them were fighting for the same piece of real estate and hit each other. Personally, I would have rather John Hunter give up the spot and try it again the next corner instead of wrecking yourself, damaging your teammate, and eliminating both chances at JGR getting a win. But that's neither here nor there. I'll have my piece later. Go ahead and start us off, Art. The Xfinity race. Thoughts, feelings, opinions. Sam won. So you should be happy.
I am. I'm very happy that Sam won. Like I'm never gonna give a thumbs down to one of my favorites winning. Although I'm a little sad, to be honest, that SVG paid and for the sins to let Sam Mayer win in my house. Right. Only one of my favorites can do well apparently, and the other has to suffer a disastrous race. But it was a really good race. I wasn't able to watch it live. I was at a wedding this weekend, so I wasn't watching the replay today. But I think Sheldon continuing to be can't close Creed for me was a highlight. Like you mentioned, like you probably need to just lose the battle and live to fight another day instead of just destroying both of your cars. I'm sure that was a fun debrief meeting Monday afternoon or Monday morning for them. And then, this Sam and Riley Hurst, maybe it's a little bit of a rivalry there. They had NBC had that camera shot. I saw that on Twitter of him watching the burnout, and that was peak cinema. Like we are watching.
Oh, that's gonna be the picture for this week.
That's like the quarterbacks watch. After the Super Bowl, they be standing there watching everybody celebrate. Yeah,
we are watching.
That was the shot.
We are watching masters of cinema at work, and I appreciate it. So maybe there'll be a little bit of a rivalry there. I always enjoy that, and they're both two young guys who are trying to find their way to the highest level in NASCAR. So, they race each other really hard. They didn't wreck each other, so that's really all you can ask for. But it was a really good race overall. Like you said, there was definitely more chaos and calamity than the Cup Series, which you could probably chalk up to youthful energy, we'll say, and inexperience. But Iowa definitely showed that, and we're gonna talk about this more later, but they absolutely deserve to come back, and I'd love to see them come back with all three series next time. Bring the trucks with them. Let's make it a 3-day party. I think this track has shown that it's good enough, that it deserves it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good race. I'm happy with it. Happy for Sam. Got another win. Got some more playoff points. Hopefully he can make this run at this championship and make it, at least a 2-horse race, because it seemed like it was all Guyers all season. So some competition would be great for him.
Kiana.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I didn't get to watch all of it live, so I had to watch the the replay, but I watched the ending live, and that was pretty crazy. But yeah, like I don't know what to do about Creed. It's so frustrating. And I have so many friends who like him, so I feel for them because I know they're like going through it right now, because I understand, like, you get so close and then it just doesn't happen, or something stupid happens during the race and it just ruins all the progress. We've seen it with other drivers. We know how that feels. So it's frustrating that he can't seem to get it, but I'm hoping with the time left that, he'll have his day. It's kind of funny though, like the way they talk about SVG. I was wondering how they were going to talk about him, because that's always like my favorite thing to hear is like how people are going to talk about SVG when they're doing like commentary on him. But it was so dramatic and so like, oh well, it's his first time in the Xfinity car and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, right, like he's learning. Whenever he talks about it, he's just like, yeah, it's okay, it is what it is. And they just go on and on and on, and I'm like, I don't even think he's like feeling that, like he's just kind of like, yeah, it happened, whatever. And they just go on and on and on, and I'm like, that's how you like just know that he's like here, he's having fun. And I love that for him. Like even when he has days like that, he's like, it sucks, but I'll be all right, ready for next week. he doesn't dwell on that
Yeah.
stuff at all, and that's what I love about him. But yeah, it tickles me like hearing how they talk about him. But yeah, you could see like after he wrecked, it was interesting because it seemed like all the teams were kind of panicking. And then when they had to fit, it was just like in droves. They were going and they all like put scuffs on it, I was like, oh my God. So I knew the race was going to be crazy because it was just going to be, that kind of chaos, I guess. But to have that many DNFs, I mean, it was what, 8, 9? I don't even remember now. Like, it was a lot. I was just like, okay. But hey, I mean, that's just, but I feel like the Cup folks probably learned, and that's why there wasn't as much chaos because they were waiting to see what happened with Xfinity, even though it's, so I'm sure they got some intel from that and got some data. But yeah, that was nuts. Jesse's car catching on fire on the hook, that was that was crazy. I just feel like we kept seeing all these really crazy like tow moments this weekend. Not sure what's up with that.
Super duper random.
Very weird. But yeah, I mean, overall it was a good race. It was entertaining, and that I feel like this is the first week that Cup has been more entertaining than Xfinity, but just barely. Like I would say they were about neck and neck this weekend, which is great, and that's what I want. I'm tired of it always being like Xfinity giving us the show and Cup just gives us a snoozer. So it was nice to actually have something to watch. And for both of them to actually be like entertaining and engaging. But I think also part of that is just from NBC. So that too.
Yeah, it's just shout out NBC, man. It's
total difference.
We were in the trenches with Fox. It's just completely different broadcast, completely different camera angles. Like, man,
I forgot they had the blimp. Yeah, like the camera angles, the way they explain stuff, like it feels like you're actually watching something substantial. I don't feel like, like watching the Fox stuff, it was just like, all right. But watching this, like on NBC, even for Xfinity, it was just like, oh my God, like this is great. Like they're explaining stuff. They're not, showing all these useless camera shots or,
Come get the education.
Yeah, like you're getting the actual broadcast, like the broadcast we deserve. Like I appreciate them for that.
Yeah, I put the tweet out. Sorry, I was going to say, I put the tweet out. It said, NBC felt like the adults were back in control, and it was just really nice to have an enjoyable broadcast that just focused on the racing, told a story, didn't try to make a story out of nothing, just let the race unfold naturally. And the camera shots were great. The presentation is just better. I mean, it's just better. They take it seriously, and I'm not saying that NASCAR racing needs to be taken with the same seriousness as open heart surgery, but like treat it like it's a sporting event. Don't treat it like it's a kid's carnival ride. There's some middle ground between there, and I think NBC finds it, and Fox indexes all the way to the fun fair.
Even down to the doggone commercial timing, man. It's just
God. We're not going to commercial in NBC, the last 2 laps of the race. Yeah,
this was just beautiful. Just the whole weekend of just amazingness. So that was Xfinity race. And then Sunday night racing is something that I've grown to love. You should do this more often, NASCAR. It just hits different. Sunday night racing just hits different.
I don't like it.
You don't like it.
I love night racing, but go ahead.
That's the only reason you don't like it is just the scheduling with this part of it.
I mean,
you've grown accustomed to the Sunday evening recordings and putting out Monday, and then you're done for the rest of the week.
No, not even that. I just like after a race, I'm still energized. So I'd rather be awake Saturday night than Sunday night when I got to be up at the crack of dawn to go to work. And like if I went to go to a race, like I'd rather it be Saturday. If it's a night race, I'd rather it be a Saturday night because then, you're not in a rush to get back. Like if you're in the stands, like you're not thinking, crap.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Well, all right. That's been Arch show.
Oh my God.
We got to leave this in too.
Yep.
So I think we were in the interview we had with Mamba. The same thing happened, and like our browsers just like crashed out, and it was funny. Like everybody took turns talking to mom because we all like randomly dropped like at each portion of the interview until we got it right. Shout out Ark. Yeah, Safari don't work too good with the streaming service we use to put this
Interesting.
off for y'all, but yeah, it was nuts. So he'll be back soon.
That's hilarious.
So we're gonna keep the show moving. We're moving the cup. The cup race was fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, is this the Kiana show now? That's crazy.
What'd you take me out for?
I didn't kick nobody out.
I know you didn't do it.
What in the world? That is crazy that you said that and then it did it. That's so funny.
This happens sometimes.
What?
I'm gonna help us, and I'm gonna take this off. Anyway, if there's a video, Emily, and you see it, I'm sorry.
That's
but yeah, going over to the cup race. The cup race was fantastic.
It was.
I wish that it started just a tick later, just so we could have some more nighttime. But
True.
the race still cooked. Stage 1 was the 12. Stage 2 was Larson. Then there was some violence at the start of stage 3 that ended Kyle's day to the dismay of some and the delight of others. I'm not going to tell you what side people are on. But it ended with Sir Ryan Blaney getting his first win of the year in the advanced scheme with 80 of his closest friends and family members to cheer him.
We back? Hello? We alive?
Yes, I've been able to see you and hear you the entire time.
That's so weird. It did that to you. Like when you got kicked, it brought you back, but you were like a black box. Yeah.
Yeah, I came like right
crazy.
back. Yeah. The show did die, but we're back now. And I have a very important question to pose to the panel. Did all 80 of Blaney's family get to come to Victory Lane?
It didn't look like it. It only looked like it was like 30 of them.
No chance for the vibes?
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Walk down?
Yeah, they just brought them through the whatever infield tunnel they got or something, or through the fence or something. That's
they would have let them.
Yeah.
They had them in special shirts.
They'd have been there all
Team
night.
Blaney.
They might have been outside of Victory Lane though. I wonder, like, if they only brought like 30 of them in, maybe the rest of them were like still like congregated behind the cameras, something like that. That's pretty cool though. It is. That's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. Oh wow, I would hope so.
But anywho, that was a cup race. Let's dive in. Kiana, I'm gonna let you go first because you get that shirt on.
My Blaney Boo. All my Penske Boos have won. This is great. I'm having a great season. I will say this. Advance Auto just tweeted, Zeeted, whatever they did. They said they're giving 12% off any online purchase tomorrow, 18th. So if you're listening to this, you'll probably hear that. 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. with code Blaney12. 12% off online.
I can get 12%.
There you go.
Detail wax spray.
Go get some. Yeah, there you go. Get some detail stuff. You know,
and some microfibers. Thanks, Ryan Blaney. Appreciate it.
Look at that. But yeah, that was. It was very interesting just because I knew a lot of people were going to be like, oh, he's starting second. He's probably going to finish 18th. Like I kept seeing it all night and I was just sitting there like, oh, this would be the funniest thing ever if he wins this. Just make all these people eat their words. Because I know people are like, oh, he's a champion. He should be winning more races. Not really. I mean, yeah, he won a few last season, whatever. But I mean, he was just strategic with his points last season and he got it done. But, I could see that he was gunning for it and he was ready. I think losing to Austin the way that he did, knowing that he pretty much had that race in the bag and it just slipped away from him, I feel like that just lit a fire under his butt. and the team's butts. So I knew it was coming. I just didn't know which track it was going to be, but I really love that he got to win that in front of his family. Like, I think that's so cool. I love when that kind of stuff happens because it's so cool to watch. But for him especially, I'm happy for him because I know how badly he wanted to win and how close he's been, and it just kept slipping away from him for dumb reasons, or you know getting wrecked or car breaking, and so it was just nice to see him get that moment, and for it to be a very special and historic moment too for him. I think that was just really cool. So props to Blaney, really proud of him. I wish that I don't know what's going on with Denny, but that's disappointing me right now because that's just crazy. But in general, JGR just looked terrible. Because I think in the first, like, what, 15 to 20 minutes, they were running like in the really, really like 25th, 26th, 27th. Like, I, it's weird, but it's almost like they and Penske have like switched places now, which is weird because that's, Penske, they were running like 20s, 30s for the longest time. And now all of a sudden they're in top 10, top 15 every week. And JGR is just looking like, all right, oh, did you show up to the track? Like, what's going on? I don't know. Weird. Justin Haley, I feel like, had another amazing night too. And I think he moved up, what was it, like 9 spots in the first, like, 15, 20 laps too. So the movement was crazy, and it was from people that you didn't really expect to have that kind of movement. So I thought that was very interesting, but that was what made the race so great because you were seeing a lot of movement and things that you hadn't really seen throughout the rest of the season. So I found that very interesting. But Blaney having such a dominant race, that was like, I couldn't ask for much more from him because for him to lead that race the way he did, and even just, even when he did fall back a little bit, he came right back and he still closed it. Like, that was awesome to watch. So yeah, congrats to him. I'm really excited about that, but I'm interested to see about New Hampshire though. I think that's going to be a good race too.
So, in case you missed it, Ryan Blaney has won at the truck level at Iowa, the Xfinity level at Iowa, excuse me, and becomes the first Cup winner at Iowa. The Treat, the Triple Crown.
They gotta get the trucks back. The truck race would have been really good there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like somebody has some questions to answer about the schedule. Go ahead, Art.
I mean, I really keep seeing that mystery schedule floating around online. No one will confirm or deny if it's real or not. Yeah, I have to agree. I think this race was the epitome of comers and goers. Early on, the first 30 laps, we saw folks making moves to the front, and then we just saw cars dropping like rocks. Like Kiana mentioned, Denny just god awful. I can't remember a race where he's been that bad in terms of just pace and speed. I mean, they were getting past left and right.
Weird.
Bubba struggled as well. Like, he was great early on and drove up to I think the 5th at one point, and I think 3rd. I think as high as 3rd at one point. Got some stage points and then just kind of struggled in the second half of the race. And one guy we haven't mentioned yet who was really the dominant car, who air quotes should have won, was the 5. I mean, that thing was cheated up to the nth degree and was a rocket ship. He went to the back, pitted by himself, came back up, and drove his way back through the field. Now, he drove through the field like he was a wrecking ball. Now, he was hitting everything but the pace car, left, right, and center. I guess it's easier when you're just bullying people out of the way, but regardless, he still had driven back up, I think, to the top 5 or so, and by all accounts probably would have won. Had he been able to keep his car in one piece. But that's the problem when you're back in traffic or you're not out in front. Like, it's real easy to get caught up in someone else's mistake or some chaos. 3 wide, 4 wide. We seen that happen to Bubba earlier this year, right? Where he's just you're running in the teens, and it just gets real squirrely back there and real chaotic. So that was the car that on paper should have won. I think they were already starting to chisel his name in the trophy until it all just went up in smoke for him. And Blaney, to his credit, I mean, he was clearly the second best car all day up until that point, and He was the best car left, and he drove like it. It stayed up front, led a bunch of laps. I forget how many. It was over like 150, I think 200 laps maybe or something.
No,
like
I think
that.
it was 201, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 201. That's right.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
So for him to put on that kind of performance in the second half, just shows the speed that this team can pull out. And yeah, I mean, this was not a car, even keeping the Larson comparisons going, this was not a car that last year was dominant. And like we said, he got a couple wins, and they were never bad, but they were never like, oh, they're the team to watch. They're a threat, the top threat to win. And it took I said it last week, it took a very clutch drive in the round of 8 to get to Phoenix, and then when you get to Phoenix, like anything could happen. So with this playoff system, you can afford to not sleepwalk, but you can afford to just get in the dance, and you get a couple wins, timely performances, like that's all you need. So happy for him. I know this was a very popular win in all of the NASCAR circles. I did feel bad for him after losing it like he did a few weeks ago with that whole fuel mileage thing. That's just a heartbreaker, so yeah, I was happy for him. But it was all in all a really good race. The pavement, like I mentioned earlier, was not as big an issue as we thought it would be. Like some people still had, really bad blowups. Allmendinger had a bad wreck, his second wreck in as many days. So I'm sure he was pretty sore, and
he had a rough weekend. Yeah.
He was. I'm sure he was not in a good mood on that flight back to Charlotte. But all in all, I think, like I said earlier, that Iowa has shown that it deserves to be back on the schedule next year. It was a full packed crowd, and you had people driving from other states because it was the closest track to them. They broadcast said they knew some folks from South Dakota, drove there because it's the closest race. And if you've got a really full, energized crowd like that, I mean, it's hard to say no to it. I think someone said it was around 20,000 people, I think was a number I saw online, which, to be fair, isn't as big a crowd as some other tracks. But I would rather have a packed 20,000 than a sparse 35,000. Like you can feel that energy on the broadcast. I'm sure if you were on pit road or in the cars, you could feel that energy too. So that makes it feel more important when you've got a fully packed grandstand like that. So bring them back next year. Let Blaney try to go 2 for 2. It was a really good race. I really thought it'd be a bit more Richmond-like because I kept hearing, the stories about Rusty Wallace made this to be like Richmond. It didn't feel necessarily like a short track to me. It felt like a weird intermediate, even though I know it's not. I know it's 7/8 of a mile or whatever it was, but I don't say that as a criticism. It's just something unique. Like what's their tagline? Like the world's fastest short track or something like that. And it was just really fun to watch. Cars were beating and banging on them when they could. So yeah, like I said, bring them back next year. Find a day in the schedule somewhere, but on the condition, the asterisk, the caveat that they have to finish the pave. Like I think you just gotta finish that. Give the cars more options, and they were able to make it 3 wide. Going to 1 and 2 on like the lane and a half they had, but you give them some more real estate, some more options. So now they've got a full, calendar year. They got the hottest part of the year coming up for Iowa to have the weather to be ideal for asphalt laying, whatever they need. But just get that done, and I think this place will put on another really good show next year.
Yeah, it was Larson definitely ruined his own chances for getting a good finish this weekend. It was the start of stage 3, and there were some cars that had stayed out because I remember Bubba pitted, and we were all looking to see where he fell back to. But Larson having a rocket ship that he does, and we say it all the time. If he's out front, he's the greatest driver in the world. If he has the fastest car on the track and he has to get back to the front, light's too bright, and that's exactly what happened. He wrecked himself. He went 3 wide. I don't know why. And with Ricky Stenhouse, and I forgot who the other person was.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's not a wise decision.
Weird.
Why would you do that with Ricky Stenhouse?
Exactly.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Of all people,
you just yourself. Bro. And so he wrecked himself. Poor Denny. Chris Gabehart had a strategy call of the year. Then he got lapped. Oh, that's fine. We fixed it. it went long and it worked. He got his way up to 6th, and then he died because Larson doesn't know how to drive. So it's very interesting how he keeps getting the tagline of the next greatest or the greatest ever. I don't remember Richard Petty doing nothing like that.
No, gosh, okay. Name
I'm just saying, it's like if you have the fast car, the dominant car, the car was cheated up, and I was okay with it. Then he wrecked it, so maybe it truly was cheated up, and he didn't want to get caught.
I do think that if Kyle has one weakness, it's his impatience. I think that's his one weakness. He wants to be.
I was gonna
so
say
bad.
it seems like he's impatient. Yeah,
and he, like I said, was a bulldozer, getting his way to the front, and there was probably 100 laps to go or something at least at that point. I don't know exactly when he wrecked, but let's say a minimum of 100 laps to go, and he was, let's say, top 10. You're going to get a stage caution. You're going to get another green flag cycle. You've got a top 3 pit crew to give you some time there. Like there's plenty of time, and like I said, he always seems to have this urgency when he's got a car that's better than where it's currently running.
Right.
To just push, max effort. And it bit him today. And, we've seen him drive, ultra aggressively in the past in a similar situation, and usually can work out for him because he's talented enough to get by, and people recognize how fast he's coming. And so they will give him space, or they get moved. Or he puts them in bad situations. That's another thing he's really good at. And this isn't a criticism, but he puts people in bad situations where they have to lift, and he gets by him. But yeah, a little bit of patience, I think, would have gone a long way for him, and he probably wins. Like I said, Blaney was the only car that maybe had something for him, and they were side by side for a while, but Kyle was pulling away from him at times in those runs. So maybe this is a case where you lose this battle, but that maybe teaches him something he needs for later on in the season. If it could be a playoff race.
I don't know, though, because he always does that. You can see, especially in person. That's why I like watching these in person, because when he is like, mid pack or whatever, and he's trying to get back to the front, you can see how impatient he is. I feel like Byron does it a little bit too.
You could see it yesterday. The Hendrick cars didn't play well with each other.
They were,
at all.
it was just very interesting to watch. But yeah, like you can tell when he's farther back and he knows he's got to get back to the front because he knows he can get to the front. He's like, oh, well, I'm just going to go. And it's like, no, man, just let it rock. Like these other people are not that fast. Like you're going to get to the front, but you don't need to be a wrecking ball rocket to get to the front. Like it's crazy. But yeah, I do feel like he messes it up for himself sometimes just by being impatient. And if he would just let things play out and just pass, take his time and pass, knowing that he can pass, he would be fine. But yeah, it's just, there's a few drivers out there you can tell they just get very impatient and they want to be at the front right away. And it's like, you don't need to do, like, especially with like 150 laps left, like you don't need to do that because you're going to have pits at some point. You're going to lose that spot. You're going to have to get back to the front again. Like it's not even worth trying to do all that. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it was nuts seeing it play out, but to the victor goes the spoils. Ryan Blaney gets to eat the corn. Moving on to 2311 corner. Speaking of adjustments, Bubba finished 17th. TR and the Hamburglar car finished 22nd. Interesting day for 2311. Tyler had speed in the beginning. Bubba didn't. Booty fixed the car. Bubba had some speed. Tyler fell off. It was that one run where they both got a lap down. Bubba was able to get his lap back, and Tyler just got stuck. So, interesting day for the 2311 team. Definitely for, I'd say, for the 23. Tight all day. Then he went too far. It was too loose, and it wouldn't turn again. So I think that's what mired the result. But the teams need more practice. The repave didn't help. You're doing all this on the sims and stuff. I mean, I know that NASCAR granted them more practice time than what we normally see on any given weekend because of it. But I just feel like if you it sort of added to the chaos. Like people thought they had a handle on their setup, and which is why we saw the
Mhm.
passing and everything that we did. There were so many comers and goers because like, oh yeah, we got it.
Mhm.
Then the race came and the green flag was like, oh no, we don't. But
Temperatures are different too. It's like,
right,
okay, it's great that we get practice, but if the practice is at a different time than what the race is going to be, like,
dumb.
what
Biggest
are we doing?
complaint. Dumb.
Yeah.
So from Bubba starting 16th to finish 17th, he only lost one spot, which is like, you don't want to lose any positions at all over your starting position, but to lose one, it's not so bad. But Tyler falling from grace from 8th down to 22nd. Something need to be done in airspeed. We got to find the speed in airspeed because they did not have it. Some of the Toyotas did. I said Denny fixed his, and he was getting ready to make a show of it until he got wrecked. But outside of Christopher Bell, the Toyotas weren't anywhere to be found.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, this was a race that I had earmarked as a chance to get some points. Right? We've talked about Bubba running well at Richmond in the past, and they were just there, right? Thank God they got those 6 stage points that they did at the end of stage 2. That's literally what's keeping them above the cut line. Excuse me. That's literally what's keeping them above the cut line right now. Those 6 stage points. If it wasn't for that, they'd be +0. So it's DEFCON 5, I think, at this point, right? The cutoff line's getting closer and closer. A couple weeks ago, let's say 5 weeks ago, they were +60, and now they're +6. So
with 2 DNFs though, like this is the thing. As much as I want to say, yeah, okay, they need to work on some stuff, they've also had some really crappy luck lately. And it sucks that, it's really Bubba and Tyler have had crappy luck. Tyler's lucky because he's got a win, but he's had some really unlucky stuff happen to him too lately. So it's weird, but again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's the sport. Like, you don't know what's going to happen week to week, which is good. Like, I'm glad we don't know what's going to happen week to week. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I don't want to be able to predict it. Like, that's boring. But, it just sucks when like Bubba's running really well and then on a restart he gets punted by some talentless driver, that's in the back or whatever, and it sucks when that kind of stuff happens, because if he hadn't had those two happen when they did, he probably would be in pretty good shape because he was doing well. So yeah, it's frustrating, but I do feel like they can bounce back. I think they've got some good chances to bounce back with these tracks coming up, especially New Hampshire. So I feel like the DraftKings car always does pretty well. He's, New Hampshire DraftKings. Like, I feel like he's got to get a win in that car at some point. So I would love to see that happen. But I'm really hoping they have speed this time. Again, it's just like every time we go to these tracks and I'm like, oh yeah, he does great here. But then I'm like, oh God, new car. So I want it to go well, but at the same time, I know it's very possible they could get something wrong with the setup or whatever. Just still like experimenting with stuff. But I'm hoping what they're doing is using like some of Tyler's setups to just kind of test things out, and then using that like next, like, okay, well, this didn't work, so for next time we go to this kind of track, we need to set it up to, like, since he's already in the playoffs. And I feel like that's kind of what Cindric was even saying. Well, he didn't say it outright, but Bob was kind of hinting at it, like, oh, are they using your car to test stuff now because you're in the playoffs? And of course at that point Blaney and Logano still weren't. Now Blaney is too. So I'm interested to see how Logano does now, and if they're like using those two to kind of test some setups and get Logano in the playoffs too. But that's kind of how you have to play it with this. And, having a brand new car, like, you've got to experiment. And when you don't get a lot of practice time, what else are you going to do? Like, you've got to use the races as test opportunities, which sucks. I don't think they should have to do that at all. I think that the practice thing is really what's hurting a lot of these teams, because they don't get enough time on the track to really figure these setups out and figure out what's comfortable for the driver. So the driver's just kind of going out there and be like, okay, let's send it, and we don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, there's so many factors that are playing into this, and it sucks because most of it is just like really bad timing or like wrong person, wrong place. Like, it's hard, but I feel like they're going to figure it out, kind of like how we were at this point last season. and everything just seemed like, oh my god, like this is horrible. And then it was like instantly they figured something out and they were just gone the rest of the season. So I feel like there's still a chance for that, and that's what I'm hoping will happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking at this playoff picture as we stand. Above Bubba is Chris Buescher. Bubba's +6, Buscher's +27, so 21-point gap. Bowman is +66, Ty Gibbs +70, Ross +71, and then you go all the way up to Truex at +122. So I mean, he is the last man in right now, and I'm looking. The first man out is Logano at -6, and then after that, there's a bit of a drop off. Kyle Busch -31, Chase Briscoe -44, Todd Gilliland. Look at you, Todd. Respect. -97. So
he's been kind of consistent. Like he's getting some movement, but
so yeah, outside of these new winners, I would be very nervous to go into the home stretch head to head with Joey, because this team obviously can be clutch. They won a title 2 years ago being clutch. So I'm very nervous about that. I need a win, and I need some misfortune.
I wonder about Buescher though. Because RFK's been very just like they either have it or they just tank. And with that margin, I feel like it's small enough that if Bubba has a really good day, which he's done, he may jump. Buescher has a bad day, he has a good day. I mean, that could change. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of room right now. Just it's those 2 DNFs, I'm telling you. Like that it ruined everything that he was working on, because he was cooking up until that point, and then it just disrupted his flow. So yeah,
I just need them to come with something. Like I said, this yes, getting stage points was great, but like I was saying, they have to run well, and it can't be we can't get 6 stage points in a month. That's not going to cut it, and that's kind of the trajectory they're on right now. Now, can they pop off? Like I said the other week, can they pop off and get a win, and all of this goes away? Absolutely. Like, I have zero doubt that that's possible, but there aren't many races where 50 laps to go they're in contention, where they're top 5, top 10 right now. Like, they just aren't either adjusting well or finding that speed late. I mean, they qualified pretty well last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they qualified great. That's the annoying part. Yeah.
So yeah, like they clearly can find speed, but it seems like once the lights turn on, it's just a struggle for them to keep up with the track, keep up with the adjustments, whatever it is. But I hope they can nail it down soon, because the cut line continues to march. It's death march closer to their door, and I really don't want them to. I don't want them to miss the playoffs. Like I said, I'd love them just to get a win at any track at this point. Like, I don't care if 35 cars wreck out on lap 1 and we got to watch a single car parade for 2 hours. Like, I'll take it if it means he gets a win at this point.
New Hampshire, Nashville, Chicago, Pocono, the Brickyard, Richmond, Michigan, Daytona, Darlington. I said it last week, I said it the week before, and I hinted at it the week before that. Personally, I'm at DEFCON 5. The alarms are on in the building. He needs a win. The team has shown that they're capable of getting stage points. They're capable of getting good finishes. They're capable at times of making the end race adjustments on the car to keep the car up front when Bubba's driven up front. Still, Michigan is highlighted and circled for me in Sharpie. That's where it has to happen. I feel like that's where it's going to happen. He runs pretty decent in Nashville, but and in New Hampshire. But with New Hampshire, Christopher Bell got that track on lock. He's running the Xfinity race this week too, so he's gonna go 2 for 2, I think.
Yeah, well, JGR doesn't tank like they have been.
Yeah, like I think if they bring the brakes, you bring your brakes, you can win your race. So I have Michigan is still my race that I'm calling that he wins.
I've been thinking Michigan. I'd love for him to win at Darlington, or Daytona, but
he's more than capable of winning a Daytona, more than capable of winning a Darlington.
He's got chances coming up. That's why I'm
Right.
not worrying yet, because again, like, we've been in this position before, and he still somehow pulled it out. So I feel like there are enough tracks coming up that he has enough chances to really get it right. And some of these are repeats, so they should have learned something from, beginning of the year to now. Hopefully they can be like, okay, well, this worked, this didn't, let's go back to that.
Right.
So that's what I'm hoping. But yeah, I would love for him to win Daytona. Oh God, if he won Daytona, that'd be amazing. But yeah.
So JR Booty, we need to lock ourselves in the 23 conference room, and we gotta make this happen, Captain. We gotta get a win. My heart rate still hasn't recovered from Daytona from last year. So you get extra race this year because of the Olympics and Darlington's the cutoff. So please, pretty please, let's get a sticker.
Well, that is kind of cool though, if you think about it. We do get the Olympic break. So
get a whole 2 weeks off to cheat.
That's kind of
to cheat.
But I do think that's interesting, because that's a lot more, strategy time. Hey, let's go over what worked, what didn't. Like,
please.
If nothing changes after that, that's when I would worry. But I feel like that's enough time. They really have a chance to just dive deep into this stuff and okay, let's fix this and get it right. So yeah, I think the first race after that is going to be Richmond. That's going to be interesting. So yeah, we'll see.
I need that.
Ooh, boy.
Come cheat it. It worked for Kyle Larson. Lights too bright. I haven't given out my lights too bright to Old Faithful. I think it's time to give it back to Old Faithful.
No, stop. I was going to do them.
I think it's time to give it to Old Faithful. Do you want to? I mean, if you can say it if you can.
I do, but
he's deserving of that.
But so mine it's just a touch different. That's why I wanted to go first. I want to know over at Spire Motorsports, is it Corey, Zane, and Carson, or is it Larry, Curly, and Mo? Because they look like the Three Stooges out there wrecking into each other in stage one. How do three cars from the same team wreck into each other? And they were not that close to each other. Like, Corey was a lane and a half up, and they just go spinning like tops into each other. That to me that's worse than a single car spin, because it's like, all right, the whole organization failed at the same time. Now credit, they were able to get back on track and keep it moving, but golly, I was like, if you DNF off of this, like, that's got to be P1 for worst wreck of the year. At least most embarrassing wreck of the year.
Embarrassing, yeah. My God, that's
yeah. Kiana.
I'm gonna have to say JGR, because I'm baffled by, especially with Denny blowing up the way he did. That was the strangest thing. Out of all the cars in the field, I never would have guessed that his car would have done that. And then for him to, go through that and then get here again, and his car is just not running right at all. He was just dropping like a brick. I mean, it was like, who was sabotaging his car every week? Like, it almost felt intentional. Like, why are y'all making him do that? Like, yeah, okay, he's in the playoffs already, whatever. But I mean, like, his car should not be running that bad. Like, that's very strange for them. And they usually, out of all the Toyotas, those are usually the ones, Denny and Ty, like, they've been running up front like crazy. Christopher Bell, he's had his moments too. But yeah, it's a very strange thing to watch. And, you could tell that he was getting really frustrated. And I'm like, I don't understand where this is coming from all of a sudden, when he's usually running up front, no problem. And now we're just watching him drop like a brick. So I don't know what's going on with them, but I need them to figure it out, because that can't keep happening. Like, that's embarrassing in itself. But overall, they were just running terrible yesterday. So
I do feel like they have like one stinker a year though, because I don't remember the track, but I feel like there was a race last year where something similar to this happened, and they were just completely trash,
just tanked. Yeah,
and they just couldn't figure out the setup. They couldn't fix it, and they just ran god awful. And the next week they were back to normal. So maybe this was just like their week, to get it out of their system.
They might have just been testing something since they're all kind of like almost safe. So
yeah,
they may just be testing something. Let's push it to the limit, whatever. But good God, I mean, that was just. Ugh. But yeah, I'm hoping they're at least Denny. I'm hoping is back to regular form because I don't like seeing him like that. It's frustrating.
So since Arthur took Corey, I have another contestant for Lights Too Bright. Monsieur William Salowich.
What? Sawallich.
That's his name. Sawallich.
Salowich, like it's a.
I was gonna call him Sandwich.
Oh my God! Please don't.
Salowich. Love it.
Sawallich.
But you right.
Yeah, man. What's wrong with you, dog?
He
tried to wreck Connor. You tried to wreck Connor, and then you tried to wreck Connor, and then you tried to wreck Connor, and then he still drove away from you.
Tripping.
Absolute trash.
And shout out to Connor because he ate that. Like that was.
He was him. Yeah, he ate that, and he was him. He drove away from him.
I'm glad he won.
That's terrible short track racing. Hit him. Nudging isn't going to do it. Get him sideways if you don't want to intentionally wreck him. But banging on his door and just no. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
And he's good. Like he doesn't need to do all that. Like that's just so extra. Like just race. I know he knows how to race. Like we've seen him. We've seen him cook. So what? That's weird.
Oh, and shout out to the announcer that's going to save Fox Sports. I forget the gentleman's name, but he did a fantastic job calling the ARCA race. Fantastic job. They should give you the mic more often, sir.
Eric.
His name's Eric. Shout out Eric.
It was that good?
Fox.
He saved the whole broadcast.
He was. No, he was. He's very good, and he's pretty well known in the NASCAR community. So it's cool to see him get his chance. But
breath of fresh air, Art. I have never heard an ARCA race called so damn good.
He does Cars Tour, I believe.
He was
because he's good.
Give him a check.
Cars Tour too.
Give him a check. It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was literally amazing. So that's that concludes our Lights Too Bright. While I'm in the app, let me switch over to these fantasy results.
One day I will remember to update my lineup, but
one day you will. Today ain't that day.
Wow.
All right,
this app needs to send a reminder like every other.
But you know what?
Half decent app.
Phil ain't been doing ours. The one that we had, he ain't updated his, and he ain't even understand the usage. Shout out to Phil. Lights Too Bright for you, honestly. Because he was talking so much trash at the beginning of the season, like, "Oh, I'm beat Kiana, blah blah blah." And now I'm in first place by like 200 points. I'm smoking them. Everybody in there. It's like 8 people on our team smoking them.
Quite aggravating that it doesn't remind you.
I set a reminder every
should tell Siri to do that.
Yeah, set a reminder because I did have to set a reminder because I almost missed it a couple times, especially like being at the track. If I don't have service, like Charlotte, I almost missed it because I had no service at the track and I almost forgot to set it, and I was like, "Oh God!" So yeah.
So JT won. Shout out JT. She had Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Brad Keselowski, and Bubba Wallace. I finished 4th. Interesting. Be sure to join us. Victory Lane Vibes is the name of the group on NASCAR Fantasy Live. Enjoy us, compete with us. We talk a lot of trash. You win a lot of prizes, as you do with everything we do here with the Vibes. Join up. Do you have anything for open mic? We asked Bonte's question for Bonte at the beginning of the show. Shout out Bonte for not being here to run your own segment, which is why we got rid of it in the first place.
No, I'm so sad.
Damn, that's cold
We
blooded.
didn't get rid of it. It's so disappointing. I was really looking forward to give Bonte crap about Christopher Bell for no reason.
Oh my God.
And then he didn't even show up.
Hey, for a while, Christopher Bell was getting passed by Corey LaJoy on speed, so I was real nervous about that. I think for open mic, my only thing is probably the march to 1K. We're getting a little closer to 800. I just bought some more goodies for the 800 and the 900 giveaway this week. Well, they arrived. They arrived today. I should say. I bought them last week, so I'm excited.
Yeah, baby. You don't even know what's going on for 900. You only know about 8.
I think my goal was to kind of make them. It started out subconsciously, but I think I tried to make them a little bit better each time. So it might be like fewer but better things. You know how like as a kid at Christmas, there's like you can have a bunch of okay things or like a few really nice big things. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of
nice big.
I feel like we're going towards the nice and bigger. Like we're sliding along that scale as we get up to 1,000, and 1,000 it's the tip of the scale. So I'm
We're gonna have to now I will preface this. We're just gonna spread out the increments of which we do things. Once we get to 1,000, that's a really big number. We'll probably catch y'all at 1,250 or 1,500.
Oh no, it's got to be 15 for because I got
we'll catch y'all at 1,500.
I got something. It's similar to 1,000, but I have something in mind for 15. So I need some time to make some arrangements.
So what that means, ladies and gentlemen, tell your friends, tell your mammy, tell your Grammy, like, comment, subscribe to the podcast, follow us on Twitter. I'm not calling it X.
Never will.
Because if you follow us, you are eligible for 800, 900, and 1,000.
His mama called it Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter.
Fact. You don't have to be the 800, 900, or 1,000 followers to win these prizes. You just got to have your name on our following list, and you can win greatness. Because Art is a curator, and I'm very scared about what he's has up his sleeve.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Thinking About Buying, the #1 and only retail store that exists entirely in your subconscious. Thinking About Buying is your personal place for all the things you're, thinking about buying. Sometimes there's things you want to buy but haven't even thought about, and that's where I come in. People buy stuff all the time, right? Pickup trucks, horses, condos in Barbados. None of those things are more important than our favorite item here at TAB, and that's t-shirts. And not just any t-shirts, we're talking t-shirts from our great friends at Home Field Apparel. Now, if you don't know these folks, maybe you haven't thought about them, wink wink, before, you're going to love them. You like sports? Well, they love sports. They have printed authentic designs from over 80 collegiate schools, and now they're doing motorsports lines as well. And what a better way to kick off the month of May from an Indianapolis-based apparel company than doing a line for the Indy 500 that drops just a few short days away on May 3rd. And the best part about ordering from them is it's just as easy as thinking about ordering from them. You can go to homefieldapparel.com or their app, look at these designs, find one that you like, one that suits you the best, and order it just like that. And hey, be sure to use our code VLV24 at checkout or 15% off your first order. That's homefieldapparel.com and VLV24. Now, if you don't mind, it's time for my lunch break. Don't tell Art.
I keep for it. On the one hand, like I enjoy it. For the other hand, like I don't want to. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, but I'm a little aggravated because I want to just give it away like today. Like I just want to do it. Like I don't like waiting to give someone something. So I'm just like, hey, tell your folks, like just follow. It's easy. No barrier. I was talking to the guy for 1,000 today, and he was like, "Are you sure you're gonna come get this thing?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm on the way." So we got a date booked and everything. So
trust and believe.
Yeah,
it's coming to you.
I was like, "Do I need to put down a deposit to be safe?" He's like, "Nah, you good. I was like, "All right, I'll do it. I don't mind." So I'm excited. The one thing I have to, my only worry is that like if one of us won like the number generator, the lotto, and then I'd be like, on the one hand, you did win this, but on the other hand, I can't give this to you, so I gotta run it again.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, right, I gotta run it again. But then that begs the question, like who's in and out, right? Like Like, okay, if us three are like Bonte, Carl, Danny, JT, like if y'all won the lotto, I gotta throw y'all's name out and do it again. But like, does Phil and Sarah count? Like they've been on the show, right? Like if they were to win, like I don't know. I just these are things I think about while I'm shopping.
I almost feel like there's no conflict of interest just by association, but I don't know.
Right. That's what I go back and forth.
Yeah.
So.
No, for sure. Like if Phil wins or if Sarah
Phil
Sarah
won
wins,
enough.
or if
He's
Shane
won
wins,
enough.
That's true,
bro. Like,
Phil don't need to win nothing else.
She coming for
you
your
can't
neck
be affiliated.
Ain't even
directly.
us out to dinner or nothing. You know, that's all right.
No, if Phil win, he got to take me to Cheddar's.
You what? Oh boy, Phil at Cheddar's is an experience.
Yeah, I need them
to bring that Kyle Busch drink back though, because that drink was good. Just saying.
Look, if there's one thing Kyle Busch needs, it's a stiff drink right now after the way his season's been going.
Man,
old boy going through it. I said
I wonder,
my boy Kyle Busch. Lord,
look,
I'm about to DM him, tell him to use that Spire money to buy this contract and come back to JGR.
Just something, God.
Just think, I said in the chat, I may have said on the show as well, I can't remember, but I was like, in another timeline, he just retires out of the 19 and just goes off in the sunset. Like, it's such a better outcome.
I mean, oh God,
it's a better outcome. I'd rather my guy go out a contender than fade away. Like, what are those 3 pity wins doing for you now? Like, you don't care about those now. I mean, my GOAT went out fighting for a championship and won 2 weeks before that at Martinsville, but whatever. Can't relate.
The greatest Martinsville race in history.
Cannot relate.
I was yelling. It was awesome. Yeah, because the current rumor mill is one Chase Briscoe is going to take them tractors over to the 19.
Rolling my eyes. I'm just gonna say I feel like you could do better. I'm looking at Gibbs.
It's just not exciting to me. It's not exciting to me.
That's not making me excited for next year.
And I'm not saying he's not good, because I mean he's had some good. He's been better this season than last season. I will say that, because last season he looked terrible. But I'm just not excited about that. I don't know. Like it doesn't feel
natural.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like a JGR driver.
Right, that's not a JGR move.
No, it was very strange.
I just feel like you could get someone young and that's probably going to be a good fit for the next 10 years. You could call somebody up. Give Chandler Smith a shot. Give Sam Mayer a shot. I'd rather have him in the car than...
Yeah, that's why he was campaigning, but he probably didn't realize that decision has already been made. So, yeah. He was campaigning.
I feel like would be a good fit for the 19.
Chandler's good. I mean,
he fits that mold. You know, he's been,
Does he have money?
The most consistent. I mean, probably not. I mean, if like money's the only factor, I know, and I get that he's got tractor money, but
that's the thing. Like Mahindra was like, we don't want you to get a seat because of us. We want somebody to want you for you. And I'm like, bro, do you realize who you sponsor?
Right. Like
that's not how this works.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you pledge allegiance to, bro?
Who do you think you're with?
Not a pledge allegiance.
Like
who do you give these checks to, tractor people?
Man.
Let's be honest about ourselves. Like this man has more last lap spinouts than he has wins. Like, let's be real. And he's not a bad driver. I'm not saying he sucks or anything, but like,
no, he doesn't suck. It's just I haven't seen it. If it was like when he was a menace to society, like wrecking Denny at the Indy Road Course, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Toyota talent right there. He got it. But like now, it's just like, oh, Chase.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, I just feel like there's better options. I put it this way: I feel like if you didn't get Chase now, you could probably get him in like 3 years. I'm gonna put it that way.
He's gonna be there. He'll sign a 1-to-1 or something. He'll always be on the table.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like he's never gonna. I don't think he's gonna be a commodity, in terms of driver.
And like, let's say Denny wins the championship this year, and he's like, "All right, I'm out. I got my trophy. I'm out."
Yeah, he could be like, "All right." Then he gonna be like, "Yeah, all right, I won with JGR. I'm gonna go play at 2311 for a little bit. Then I'll hang it up."
I mean, right? Like you're already losing Truex. If you lost Denny right after that, it's like, okay, cool. We're gonna replace those two with Chase, Briscoe, and
The youth movement. They're just pulling a Hendrick.
I don't know.
I mean, if I'm Briscoe, like I signed that contract immediately. I don't even read it.
Oh, of course. JGR, Toyota.
Of course, yeah.
Let me get that.
That's why I feel like it's, that's why it's moving so quick, because they probably ain't even have to convince him or nothing.
Yeah,
he was
like, no,
yeah,
I'm in.
Yes,
I don't
please,
care. I'm in.
Yes. I mean, yeah, you couldn't get I don't know. You couldn't get Eric Jones, somebody? I don't know. Bring somebody back.
Fuck
no.
Somebody
Sorry,
up.
cuz. But no.
His
Jones ain't
mojo
coming back
is
to
gone
JGR.
at this point.
Yeah.
If Nemechek didn't wreck everybody all the time, he'd
Yeah.
probably be a good he would be a good fit on there, but
he wasn't a menace.
I mean,
yeah, he's a menace.
I'm trying to think.
You know who I really wanted to be? And it just he might just Matt DiBenedetto or Corey LaJoy his way to Cup.
Who?
Sheldon.
Hmm.
Sheldon got money. You can roll your eyes all you want to. The boy got money. He got backing. He finished the second a lot, which is something, seconds get you championships in this format.
True. But it's interesting because a lot of those people who do well in Cup, do well in Xfinity, like Austin Hill used to, not as much right now because he's wrecking everybody instead of focusing on winning.
What he owes.
Yeah, but it's interesting, like watching him go to Cup, like in Atlanta, and he doesn't do anything. He's in 30th the entire race. Jeez. So it, a lot of times it just doesn't translate. So I'm always interested to see like when they start testing these people out. So I'm glad like Corey Haim's getting some Xfinity time. I love that. I want him to get more Cup time too because I like watching.
Great showing this week too. He's running next week as well.
So that's why I'm like, all right.
I'm looking here at the Xfinity standings. I just want to see what their Toyota pipeline looked like at Xfinity. There's only 2 Toyotas in the top 20 in points in Xfinity.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know there's only 4 Toyotas in the top 30 in points?
Yeah, it's the Sam Hunt ones.
Golly.
I don't think it's that many Toyotas that run. I think there's 4 full-time Toyotas in it.
So that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what.
Yeah.
My point. I'm like, dang,
Chandler Smith and Sheldon Creed. They ain't got no
nobody.
A decent amount of trucks, no Xfinity cars, and then
that's why the Toyotas are a hot topic because like they're about to have spaces opening up and they don't have much in the pipeline.
Yeah,
Raja, keep your phone close.
Oh, that would
if Chevrolet lets him go. We'll see.
Yeah, he in the trenches with Chevrolet. That's a pipe dream.
Yeah, I'm looking
in the trenches with Chevrolet, Ally, HendrickCars.com.
Looking at the truck series, it's not much better. Outside of Haim, you've got Taylor Gray, Tanner Gray, Friesen, Dean Thomas, Timmy Hill. Like it's not a real murderer's row. Brett Moffitt in 32nd place in the points. Like
yeah, they're gonna have to poach some people if they really want to have like a pipeline.
Tell you, man,
they really do not have one.
Harrison's seat is gone. He can go back to Toyota on the cheap.
Well, then just swap him and Chandler Smith. Send Chandler Smith down to the 81. I'm sorry, send him down to the 81 and send Chandler Smith up. I'd rather see him get a shot. Honestly, I'm all about giving unproven talent at this point over proven middle class, possibly mediocre talent, because I know exactly what I'm gonna get out of Chase Briscoe, and I'm not excited to spend $50 million a season for it. Like, I know you got to put somebody in the car, I get that, but why don't you at least put something that's an unknown that has potential to be a top 15 guy every week, or like you said, poach somebody. I'm looking at names. I mean, I don't know contracts, but like hypothetically, let's say, I don't know. Let's say Alex Bowman. I'm looking at Bowman. He's 12th in points. I'd rather have Bowman than Briscoe.
I don't honestly, he actually would kind of fit good there.
I think he'd be a great
fit. It's just a weird move. Like when they make that announcement, I'm just gonna be like, all right. Like there's nothing exciting about that.
Right.
I just
that's nothing like, ooh, can't wait for the new team lineup for JGR. Like it's When Tyler got signed in 2011,
I mean, it's kind of like when
the whole world
SHR
stopped.
announced theirs.
Yeah, it was like, oh,
there was no
hashtag real
excitement. I'm
racist.
sorry, no excitement on that. Except like I was excited for Josh Berry. That's about it.
Right.
Other than that, like no. So
Where is he in points? Let's see. Where is this man?
Job Berry.
No, I'm still on Briscoe. 17th in points right now.
You're right down the cut line.
He's in the
see.
playoffs. He's number 19.
Let's see. His last 5 weeks. I know it's only 5. I'll go 6 weeks. I'll be fair, because some fans gonna hear me say 5 weeks and be like, "Oh, you left off Darlington." The last 6 weeks, he went 5th, 7th, 25th, 17th, 34, 28. Sure, we're gonna give him a seat. We're gonna even give him one of the top 8 seats in the Cup Series. That's what you're telling me. Because a JGR car is a top 8 seat in the top level. That's what you're
I hate it.
That's what you're telling me. 17th in points, but should be in the top 8 seat. Hell, what you call it? Give Chandler to 2311. Put Bubba in the fucking 18. I don't care.
Turn up. We out here.
That's a step up, bro. Listen.
No.
What's
23?
What's old boy's name? Christopher Bell's crew chief. Is it Steve Adams? Is that who it is?
Adam Stevens.
Oh, excuse me, Adam Stevens. Well, I kind of got it right if you think about it. Technically,
close enough.
Give me a crew chief like him on Bubba, man. Listen, I love Booty, but it ain't looking good for the home team, my brother. You can make mistakes, but you can't be a repeat offender of the same mistakes. And every week I see a car that starts out fast and don't end fast.
We have 2 weeks to cheat.
Wait till after the Olympic. I think people are jumping the gun. Wait till after the Olympic break. That's gonna be the test.
If there's no speed in that car,
and that's why I'm
Richmond,
excited. That's why I'm excited for Richmond, because I want to see who comes back and is just like ready to go. Because that's gonna tell me who's getting in the
that car at Richmond. If that McDonald's Camry doesn't have any speed in it, August 11th,
I'm going to win.
In the year of the Lord 2024. It's gonna be issues.
I'm just saying, I will have the pitchforks sharpened. Listen, this isn't what I want, to be clear.
You don't want pitchforks, but you're prepared to bring the pitchforks.
Look, it's not about what I want.
Grill?
It's not about what I want. It's about
or a tent.
The reality that we live in. I'm not happy about it. But hey, look, man, something got to change, and the driver ain't about to change. So something's got to give. We got to get a win, damn it.
Need a sticker on the car.
I think something's going to happen.
I want 2 stickers. We need at least one sticker.
I want it. I only criticize because I care. Because let me tell you, if we were talking about Chase Briscoe, I wouldn't give a crap. I don't care. He can run 18th every week. I don't care. That's fine. But Bubba got more talent than that. Sorry, Chase Briscoe. I don't know why it's turned to the Chase Briscoe roast session. I just don't think he should have a top.
Because we know it's about to be 8,000 days of discourse around this choice. And yeah.
Like I said,
I'm not excited for it. I'm about to mute his name on Twitter because I don't want to see it every day.
It's gonna be so annoying.
Just like I had to mute Waiver, I'm gonna have to mute Briscoe because.
Hey, Chase Briscoe's average finish the last 3 years, his full seasons in Cup have been 19th, 17th, 20th.
That's a really great place to end the show at.
Top 8 seat though. Gibbs car. You know, the same
mid. The only reason why is because he got money. I keep telling you that. The only reason why he's even in topic of conversation, there's a blank check involved. He's just like with Noah. Noah had a blank check from Bass Pro.
But Noah.
Ooh, speaking of Bass Pro.
Uh-oh.
If Truex go bye-bye, That means Noah goes from Winchester rifles to tracker boats, right? He back?
I mean,
He
yeah.
getting he back in full regalia?
I mean, but you mentioned Noah. I would say Noah still falls though in the category of unknown potential.
Yeah.
We
And I think
don't.
that's why he
Fast. Like
doesn't have any
he's
prospects yet.
fast.
He's
If he
not
doesn't actually be fooling everybody, but
like
Right.
he has
it
not
sounds like he
had
didn't have anything.
3.5 seasons to try and prove himself.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Let's be honest. Like he had
little
a
bit with
lost
that.
season last year, partly due to himself, mostly due to himself. But even
Yeah.
before
Due to himself.
the incident, those cars were not good. Let's be honest; they were not good last year as an organization.
Yeah, and it was honestly still kind of one of those situations where like you're really good in Xfinity, and then they come to Cup, and it's just like, ooh.
Right. And then
I mean,
now
look
he's
at
on a
Ty.
team.
Like
Had an
Ty's
opportunity
running
to
better.
run. Yeah.
And think about this. He went from half a season on a team that was struggling to your first full
Right.
season with a team that's now getting closed down.
Yep.
Like, how can I make
Yeah,
an
he's
honest
had-
assessment of that guy?
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why he doesn't have a lot of prospects. Like I said, if that's actually true, like I'm not surprised because number one, even though he's had some good moments this season, he's technically still a risk. He's a brand risk.
Yeah.
And there are
You
some
like Carl.
teams who are absolutely not going to want to take that on just because of what's happened. I don't think his fans are doing him any favors either because their behavior has been pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate too because like Noah's not really like that at all. And I mean, I've met him. He's always been extremely nice when I've met him. Like and his fans are they're just as bad as the who's and the other whats. So
I think it's funny. I think past history aside, I think Noah's actually the opposite of a brand risk at this point because I think he got the fear of God put in him, and
I would hope
he
so.
knows that you're one toenail away from losing it all. Like you're not good enough that you can just do whatever you want. And I imagine he will be Kyle Larson-esque in the sense that off track he will be quiet as a church mouse.
Yep.
In terms of controversy. Now he can still go out and drink his beer and go to Waffle House like he did after race and like all of those things. That's fine.
He's been very calm. He just posting his little fishing videos,
right?
And minding his business.
He suddenly found religion or something and just laid low. But I'd rather you give him the 18 or the 19 or whatever. I actually
think he would be great in it. Yeah. If he has good equipment, he's good. That's the thing.
I think he could be a diet Kyle Busch. Like not nearly as good as Kyle Busch, but in the sense of like a hothead, very aggressive Joe Gibbs equipment.
Diet or Coke Zero version?
Whatever's your flavor.
Noah Zero. Oh my God.
So yeah, I mean, give me that.
Because, out of all the SHR drivers, that's not who I thought would be going to
jail. Hell no.
I'm sorry. That's not who.
Hell no.
That is not who I thought would be getting that. So yeah, I'm honestly very surprised at that. But
they got bans.
I hope Noah does find a spot. But it's like at this point,
Noah gonna have a job. It's
just gonna be.
You can't have that money, that Bass Pro money, bigger than the Mahindra.
Somebody's gonna take it. Yeah,
somebody gonna take that bands.
Mm-hmm.
Before we sign off, we got another Ask Bonte question for Bonte List Victory Lane Vibes episode. Chance asks, I wanted the next BW review to be special. Here's an autographed Bubba Wallace KBM truck bumper. I also had an Ask Bonte question for the podcast. Do any of y'all have any sheet metal? If not, what is your dream piece of sheet metal? I'll go first. Outside of the I want a piece of Tyler's UNC car he drove at the 600 last year. But I got my fish. Art graciously got me in trouble and got me fishy. Fishy is the Columbia car they had 2 years ago at Daytona, when him and Eric Jones had rivalry schemes. That's probably my top two favorite Columbia scheme outside of the topography one that they came out this year. The car Bubba drove at the Clash. But I have fishy now, and I like fishy. Thank you, Art.
Well, I try to do the best I can. Checks in the mail, right?
Yeah, something like that.
The
Venmo.
You see?
Busted.
The Venmo.
Yeah.
Cash only podcast. Cash only.
Keanu, you want to talk about your metal? I'll go last.
Yeah. I have a Lidos piece. If you know me, you know I love that car. It's my car. It's rainbow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's my baby.
Soon.
Yes. So I want I almost got the full front of the car and I'm sad I couldn't get it, but if it still exists, I may try it. I may try to go get it, but I have an idea of what I want my office to look like whenever I actually get around to doing that, but it was going to be centered around that piece because I have like all this Lido stuff now. So yeah, whenever I see a Lido's piece, that's like my thing is like I love it because it's just so pretty. Like that car it's beautiful. That car is beautiful in person. So I just anything I see with that, I have to get it. So yeah, love it.
Shout out Lidos.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a very pretty scheme. Yeah, I think I'm the resident sheet metal collector of the group, much to my household's dismay and to my credit card's dismay. Shout out that PayPal Pay in 4 because
hey baby, every time
right there when you need him, right there when you need him. Yeah, so I've got a Raj door off of his truck, off the Wendell Scott scheme, which I really love. I've got a quarter panel off of a Jeff Gordon 98 car. I've got a door off a Jeff Gordon 2013 Martinsville race, which I really love. It's got a donut in the side. That's my favorite track, my favorite driver. So I love that one. And then the driver that got me into buying sheet metal, people can't see, but behind me is a wall of Bubba Wallace doors. I think my favorite though is probably it's a tie between the McDonald's scheme. Well, y'all two can see it, but the McDonald's scheme, because that's the same scheme from the same season as the Dega win. He only ran that scheme twice at Dega in Bristol. This is from Bristol. And then this one, the teal one, is from
the Moneyline car.
No, it's from it's on DoorDash from Coda, from the first Coda. If you remember, it rained like crazy. And remember he like plowed into the back of somebody.
Oh, he hit Mark Truex. Ooh,
yeah,
it was Truex or Harvick.
I think it was Truex. I think.
Oh, that was a bad wreck.
Yeah, it's off of that one. And so that one, I've only gotten to meet Bubba once, and I got him to sign it. He goes, "What car is this from?" And I said, "Coda," and he just rolled his eyes. He was like, I was like, "Yeah, they had you out there in some mess, man. Y'all shouldn't have been racing in that." And he just chuckled. But yeah, I'm always on the lookout for sheet metal. I love it. So my wallet don't love it. But that bumper looks pretty tough. I like that. If you want to sell that to me, that'd be great. Don't tell the people I live with, even though I know they're listening.
Snitches get stitches.
I'm like, hey, don't listen to the episode this week.
Just skip the last 20 minutes or something.
Right.
Oh, mute it. It's all good. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, little children, dogs and cats, I guess we'll see you post New Hampshire. See you win some lobsters. Damn, I want lobster now.
Is the lobster alive still when they give it to him?
I'm pretty much.
100%.
Man, I don't mess with no lobster.
It's really, really good to eat. Really scary when they're alive, but really tasty after they've been in the pot with some Cajun butter.
All right. On that note, Jared's gonna have a cooking spinoff. Be on the lookout for it. Cooking.
The next cold open is going to be teaching you all how to make sopapilla.
Oh my god!
I got some of that downstairs. It's magically delicious, and I'm gonna go eat the rest of it.
Oh my god!
We still team unbig big back 24. We're running that promotion after we get to 1,000 followers.
Oh my god!
Unbig the back.
You got that one. I will be.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't.
You might as well
run
move that to
72
25
miles.
because no.
It's already June.
Like we
I've
running out of time.
I've lost weight. I'm down like 40 pounds, but like I'm like, damn.
Yeah, but
6 months ain't enough to unbig it. You need a full year.
I
So
need a
just
full year,
start
man.
in 25.
It's terrible. Well, I gotta reset, but it's to keep going. I gotta just mentally get back in the game. It's hard.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do it. We're gonna unbig the back 2024. Shout out Keontae.
Oh my god.
All right, another show.
And with that, we'll see y'all next week.
Get us out of here.
Play my music.